My name is Dr Pugliese. I'm the owner and CEO of Circadia by Dr Pugliese. Dr Pugliese is the founder of our company. He's also my grandfather. He's considered to be one of the godfathers of the aesthetic industry. He joined what's called the Society of Cosmetic Chemists in 1971, and at the age of 92, he's still very active within the industry, and I've had the privilege over the last 14 years to be working with him in a number of areas of study of aesthetic science, and of course ingredient technology is something that's very near and dear to our hearts. So we've been focusing on formulation and product development and education of aesthetic science together for quite some time. And it's just been a great honor and a privilege for me to be able to do that with someone who's been a pioneer for so many of our industry leaders, and for me to just be right next to him all this time. Ingredient technology is huge. We really, when it comes to education and performance of products, stand on the shoulders of the ingredient suppliers and what they're capable of producing and presenting to us. So we do rely on their information quite a bit. Peptides are still big as far as performance ingredients. We've seen a little bit of a slowing in the pace of how many of them are coming out as regularly, but we still do see quite a few. The Matrixyl family continues to expand. There's a newer one that was just launched in 17, which is making its way into products now, called Matrixyl Morphomics, which is very promising as far as performance goes. There's a newer ingredient that's been around for a couple of years that's, again, just starting to make its way into products, which is something that's a play on an older ingredient, which is copper. Copper peptide was the first commercially available peptide, but there's an ingredient called neodermal, which is very impressive, that delivers copper without all of the potential for the free radical damage that you see, being that copper is a transition metal. So those are a couple that are exciting. I think really the most expansive space right now is botanicals. We know that organic, natural is something that consumers are continuously hearing about and looking for, but we have the suppliers that are generating these really interesting and coming out with really interesting botanical sources of ingredients. So not necessarily organic or natural, but derived from a botanical source. And that comes from not just the performance ingredients, but also emulsifiers, surfactants, more green science technology. And that will, I feel, continue to expand. And that's something that we're really working on right now at Circadia. So our industry is just honestly filled with a lot of misinformation. We have a lot of experts that arise kind of unfortunately out of nowhere, and the misinformation kind of gets passed around and picked up. One thing that I found, and I'll highlight this one in particular, is when it comes to supplementation. Supplements are great. They really do have an impact and an effect on the skin in a very positive way, many of them. But one thing that I think we really need to be cautious about is the notion that we have oral supplementation for sun protection. We know that things like lycopene and beta-carotene can offer a small amount of sun protection, and with that regard, it's maybe an SPF of 1 or 2, which is tested, but there's also things like enhanced water, frequency enhanced water, that are being promoted out there as being able to protect the skin from ultraviolet radiation, and it's been well documented at this point that that's simply just not the case. We know that sun protection, above all of what we recommend in the professional industry, is something that is absolutely critical and all too important. So that's one thing that we really can't mess with, and I would advise professionals and consumers alike to be aware that there is nothing out there that's documented by our regulatory body, the FDA, that tells us how we can make, market, and sell sunscreens to the consumer. So watch out for that one. Collagen is the primary protein of the dermis and really helps to give the structural integrity to the skin. It makes up about 70% of the dry weight of the dermis versus, say, for example, elastin, which is only about 1 to 2%. As of right now, we know there's at least 25 different types of collagen that can be found in the dermis, but 1, 3, and 4 are the major structural types of collagen that we find in the skin. And those are really the focus of most of our anti-aging treatments. And we do have a number of great ingredients that are available that can help to promote the good collagen, those 1, 3, and 4s that we're looking for. And that varies everything from peptides to vitamin A and a number of other ingredients and also treatment options that are on the market today. So there are a number of different modalities for boosting collagen production within the skin. The fibroblast, which is the cell responsible for producing all of the collagen and most of the other connective tissue as well, requires copper, vitamin C, oxygen, a number of other materials. So supplying those to the skin through various modalities certainly helps. We have some more direct topical methods, things like peptides, which have become far more commonplace in the last 10 years or so. Things like the Matrixyl 3000, Matrixyl Synth 6, the whole family. Those are very popular, very commonly used in the industry. But then we also have things that are tried and true tested technologies. Vitamin C, certainly vitamin A. These are things that have been part of the aesthetic industry really since its inception, that are really standard throughout most brands, and that are also very recognizable from the consumers. They all play their individual roles, but we really start to see things maximize when we're combining these ingredients together, either through home care products or through the professional treatment. Certainly exfoliation, IPL, those are also ways that we can trigger the injury mechanism to get the fibroblast to produce collagen as well. But really it comes down to cumulative function of being able to get the skin to produce the right types of collagen that we're looking to make. So chemical exfoliation accounts for a huge part of what we do for professional services in the aesthetic industry. There is something to be said for too much exfoliation. Chemical peeling, even though it can be great for the skin, if we push that mechanism too far, it can create some serious problems. We are relying on the skin's ability to repair itself after damage.